Hey all, how are you doing? I'm great. Thank you so much for asking. It's me, Kim, and I'm back. I don't know what just happened. That was the weirdest thing in all of the time that I've been doing these live videos. Whatever just happened has never happened before. YouTube was hating on you, girl. So I can't even, the video I just did is not even up anymore. So anyways, now I have to start all over. So I have no idea that was the craziest thing. But I have to start over because that video is not up anymore. Okay, let's go. So many people have been asking me to talk about this Emo Black Thought situation. Let's hurry up and review what it was. All right, so Emo Black Thought was a really popular Twitter account, right? And for a long time, I never followed it because I thought it was a meme account. I did not think there was an actual, real person behind it. But the Emo Black Thought account, which began as the Mad Black Thought account, which apparently got deleted, but it just used to tweet random stuff about black girlhood and black womanhood, right? So whenever I would see it retweeted, it would be just a real cliche about, black women aren't allowed to be sad. Black women, introverts, need support. Black women are the mules of the, and it's like, I was just like, I don't need that. You know what I'm saying? I like to follow actual people. But that account amassed like 170,000 followers by being a fake black woman and a fake queer black woman and talking about menstruation and even like putting up their Cash App to get donations and being like, support a black woman, right? And I didn't follow that account because it just felt like a performance of black womanhood. It felt like a caricature. It felt like a meme account. It felt like a curation of lots and lots of just like random disparate ideas about black womanhood and black girlhood rather than like a real live black person behind it. That's how it felt to me. So I was like, oh, people were really talking to this person and really thinking that's a queer black woman and really giving them money and being in like group chats with that person. So about a week ago, the person behind Emo Black Thought decided that they were going to come out as a cisgender black man in Paper Magazine. And this caused a huge uproar. So they decided it was finally time to come clean. His name is Isaiah, and apparently he was friends with Lil Nas X, which is not surprising if you are aware of Lil Nas X's past as a Nicki Twitter stan. But okay, anyways. So a lot of people who had been engaging with the Emo Black Thought account really were angry and they felt betrayed, and they talked about discussing their intimate traumas with this, who they thought was a queer black woman who turned out to be a black man. And that is fascinating to me. I am so fascinated by this moment that we're in, where the performance of black womanhood and the performance of black girlhood is as lucrative as it's ever been, as popular as it's ever been. And because we now have these platforms, these democratized distribution platforms, anybody who wants to have access to like black girl cool, because you can be basically anonymous, anybody can do it. Anybody can perform it now, right? And nobody's gonna check up on you. What's so fascinating is Emo Black Thought could have gone forever without ever being found out. And people, young black women, would have still been talking about their nudes and talking about their traumas with them, and they never would have known. That is fascinating. Oof. 2019 is fascinating. Okay, so I mentioned that they had so many followers, right? It just wasn't for me, but I think that the Emo Black Thought situation really underscores so many things that me and so many other black women who are deeply invested in digital culture and black womanhood have been saying for so long. My most viewed video on this channel is a video about how Ariana Grande has a deep desire to appear Black adjacent, Blackish, mixed, right? A little bit of Black sprinkled in. And that video, somebody from Ariana Grande's camp got that video demonetized. But that's okay. But it's so fascinating to me that so many comments under that video were non-Black people saying, y'all are so paranoid. You know, y'all are so arrogant. Nobody wants to be a Black woman. Nobody wants to be a Black girl. She's not trying to be y'all. And it's fascinating now that we get the Emo Black Thought story. And I also saw another a white girl, I think she's from Alabama or Mississippi. She came out this week and saying, yeah, when I was young, you know, I thought it was cool to pretend to be Black, but I'm not really Black. It's me. I'm a white girl. And it's interesting to think how many other accounts like that are out there, right? And now that we have these spaces where Black women in particular congregate, and where Black women are very, very powerful, to be honest, and we are sharing our thoughts and sharing our culture, but with each other, but everybody now has the opportunity to listen in, to be tapped into what I would say is like a really distinct Black girl culture. That stuff is no longer hidden. There's no way, you know, stuff that used to be just intra-community dialogue, right? Just memes and sayings and, you know, we would just talk about little, you know, a couple of weeks ago when I had the half up, half down, I tweeted about the PTSD that I have from hot combs, you know? None of my little white girl childhood friends would ever know what I was talking about, right? I don't think I ever, when I was a kid, talked to any of my little white girl friends about being afraid of a hot comb, right? But now Black women are having these conversations about these formative experiences that define Black womanhood and Black girlhood out in the open. And so now everybody has access to those discourses. Everybody sees the way that Black women communicate and how much we support each other and affirm each other. And I understand why you would, if you're on the outside, I get why you would say, I want to do that. That looks like fun. I get it. Right? And especially if you have the opportunity to be in those discourses and in those spaces and be affirmed and supported in that way online, and still go back to your privileged identity offline? I get it, right? I understand why, if you are not a Black girl or a Black woman, you get the best of both worlds. And there's no way for any of us to ever know unless you are like Isaiah, formerly Emo Black Thought, and you see performative Black womanhood as an opportunity to create a legitimate career for yourself, right? It's fascinating that he built up this platform as Emo Black Thought, and then he decided, or he said he felt bad, or should I say they? I'm not sure what their pronouns are. They said they felt bad about it, and then they finally decided to come out. Now, it's fascinating that all of a sudden you had this change of heart. You know, your guilty conscience kicked in. But instead of just coming clean on the timeline and saying, hey guys, I have something to tell you, that you decided to get into a major publication and use that as your entryway to legitimate success. Now that's why people don't, it looks sketchy to me. You're saying you're remorseful, but you're still capitalizing off of the bullshit you did. Come on, Isaiah. Come on. It doesn't make sense to me. Okay. Okay. So I understand, right? And as somebody who has been deeply invested in creating digital community for Black women for a long time, like, I I always have to explain to people that my first career is not being on YouTube. I started the FORHARRIET as like a blog and digital community in 2010. And I recognized back then that like Black women really run the blogosphere. There is something unique about the way that we engage with each other, and we are incredibly influential. And now that the blogosphere is like, that's defunct, I do believe that like there's something particular about the way that Black women use YouTube that's very influential, about the way that Black women use Instagram and Twitter that's really, really influential. I mean, it like basically like changed the face of TV. I mean, look at something like Scandal. The success of Scandal is due primarily to Black women being hyper connected and hyper engaged on Twitter. And then after Scandal, we get like Shaunaland, and then we get like Insecure. I mean, it's quite fascinating that a group of people who has been structurally so marginalized, now that we finally have access to these democratized platforms, that our voices and our influences are so, they are, they're, you cannot ignore them. They're everywhere. And even, I'm not even going to get off into this, but even think about the way that feminist discourse has changed over the past 5 years, 10 years. The reason why we're all talking about intersectionality right now in feminism is because of the way that Black women use social media. But despite all of that influence, despite the fact that we finally have these social media platforms to be able to share our voices and to connect with each other, Black women still are not reaping the benefits of that. Really, what Black women's voices on the internet have become is a wellspring. It's become like a precious ore for other people with more privilege and more access to mine for their own benefit. And so, like on that Ariana Grande video, and people say to me, oh, you're so bitter. You're just bitter and you're just jealous. I'm not, right? I see what's happening. I'm not bitter and I'm not jealous. But if you are a Black woman and you see that shit happening and you are bitter or you are jealous, that is justified. It's justified. Look at, we about to go off. I'm sorry, I'm preaching. Look at Hot Girl Summer. Now, thankfully, Megan Thee Stallion was able to trademark Hot Girl Summer and capitalize on it, right, in her own way. But look at how many corporations started to integrate the term Hot Girl Summer into their tweets and into their social media campaigns. Now, if Meg had fewer resources, if she didn't have money and clout in this huge platform, she would have been completely erased from that. It's really easy to see a scenario where Meg Thee Stallion was just a little bit less famous, had a little bit less money, and Hot Girl Summer would have taken off completely without her. And now we're in like Hot Girl Fall, and I'm seeing like live with Kelly and Ryan talking about Hot Girl Fall. But still, Black women still do not have the resources to really be able to adequately capitalize off of all of our intellectual property, our cultural innovations. And so when you see somebody like Emo Black Thought, or the artist formerly known as Emo Black Thought, come out and make a big deal of, I'm revealing myself, you're like, what the fuck? Like, there's actual Black women out there, actual Black women, young Black women, cultural producers who aren't getting that. Other groups are more well positioned to profit off of Black women. They do what they do. Yeah. And that's intentional, right? And so Black women come together online, use the tools that we have like we always do. And the primary tool now is social media. We come together, we congregate, we innovate, we make new stuff, we produce, we have fun, we celebrate each other, we affirm each other and support each other. But we are still, but we still always have to be a little bit paranoid, because you know that Twitter is an open platform. YouTube is an open platform. When I used to blog, blogging was an open platform. Anybody has access to it. And as soon as they decide they want it, they can take it. You know, I was reading a couple of articles about this, and I saw somebody talking about we need to be more protective. We need to be more protective of our stuff. And I'm like, well, maybe, but I don't think that protection, in order to protect it, you have to have enough resources to protect it, right? It's like I have lots of trademarks now, right? And it costs money to get things trademarked, and it costs money to, you know, incorporate your business and get things trademarked. But if somebody were to infringe on that trademark, the only way for me to like protect it is if I have enough money to defend that stuff in court, right? All of this ultimately is about resources. It's about attention, which is like the new resource in the social media era. It's about money. It's about fame. And we, Black women, are just structurally marginalized from that stuff. All right. And I will also say that I have always loved social media as a Black woman, and I decided to make a career out of creating community for Black women because you really see how starved so many of us have been in our offline lives, in our pre-internet, pre-social media lives for understanding community, you know, loving community. It is so heartening for me continually. Sorry, I think hair gets stuck on your lip gloss and then it has been so heartening for me for these past 9 years to see the way that Black women congregate online and the way that Black women who do not know each other, have never met each other, probably won't never meet, most of us will never meet each other, the way that we are able to offer each other support and affirmation and validation for your experiences. I'm continually just so fascinated by the fact that I can say anything about something that happened to me, and a Black woman will say, "Oh, I did that too." I think months ago I tweeted about, you know, being a Black girl who loved Grease and Grease too. And then like 10 other Black women were like, "Yeah, I loved Grease." And it's like, are you kidding? Oh, sorry, I forgot I have a microphone on. And like 10 other Black women will be like, "I loved Grease," like reproduction, you know? That's Grease too, by the way, reproduction. And it's genuine, it's heartfelt, it's joyous, and I get why you would want to be in on that stuff. But the thing is, right, and this is like the thing about cultural appropriation, is it requires an understanding of just because something looks fun doesn't mean that you need to be there, right? It's like, I don't need to be in every space. You know, it's like I'm a cisgender, heterosexual Black woman. And there's so many times when I see like queer folks doing stuff, trans folks doing stuff, and I'm like, oh my, you know, but I'm not going to a ball. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm not trying to infiltrate like ballroom culture just because it looks cool, because it's not for me. And being able to acknowledge that something is fruitful, that something is culturally valuable, but also not for you, requires a humility. It requires a self-awareness, but it also requires like a genuine desire to like do good and be good. I think a lot of us engage with culture, online cultural products that do not belong to groups that are from groups that we don't belong to, and we feel an entitlement to it. A lot of people feel entitled to Black women's stuff. you know? And not only do they feel entitled to Black women's stuff, they feel entitled to mine Black women's innovations without giving back in any meaningful way. You know, the cultural appropriation conversation is primarily about it's not for me, it's not just about the fact that people want to do it. I get it. It's fun being a Black woman. It's the shit. I get it, girl. It's the fact that we know that you can come in, take, and never give anything back. And face no repercussions for that. You know, I see so many people talking about, well, you want to be famous and you want your culture to be out there and all of that stuff. Yeah, like I want to share Black culture and that's fine. The problem is that it is the relationship between Black culture and Black women's culture, Black girl culture in particular, and everybody else is so fundamentally exploitative. If we could eliminate the exploitation, I would be cool. Wear your box braids. Do whatever, you know. But the fact that it seems like most people are fundamentally unable to engage with this stuff without exploiting. That's what people are really mad about, right? And also that Black women, we rarely get credit for the ways that we innovate. You know, when we're talking about internet culture in particular, so much of the discourse around Black folks and internet culture is the digital divide. The digital divide is this idea that because Black folks have less access to like laptops or whatever, or less access to internet, that we are disadvantaged, you know, and like we have to tackle the digital divide because Black people are disadvantaged. But very rarely is it acknowledged the ways that that divide has produced enormous society-changing innovations. The way that Black folks and Black women in particular use Twitter is socially transformative. But that stuff that has changed our culture for the better always gets painted as a deficit to our detriment. Let me go back to my notes. Another thing I thought was really fascinating was, it's so funny, right? Twitter, you know, so funny because in like feminist discourse, right, we talk a lot about like the male gaze and the white gaze and how for so long, if you are not a cisgender, heterosexual white male, that you are expected to perform for the cisgender, heterosexual white male gaze in order to have access to opportunity, in order to have a platform. What's funny is somebody like an Emo Black Thought, or Isaiah, I can't remember what his last name is, that he was performing for the Black female gaze. It is so fascinating to me that he was parroting, you know, Black cliches about Black womanhood and, you know, oh girl, my period and I'm so depressed. But he was performing in order to be embraced in community by Black women. And despite the fact that Black women do not have access to like other modes of power, meaning like big platforms or financial power, it is fascinating that the desire to be in community with Black women would cause like a little white girl from Alabama and a cisgender Black man and all sorts of people to perform so that Black women will say, oh yeah. Now that is a fascinating power shift to me. Now sex, we can't really do a whole lot with it. But when it comes to like your desire to be validated, that you're doing that so Black women will congregate around you, ooh, fascinating to me as somebody who loves the internet. Oh, that we are that the social capital that you desire can only be gotten from Black women. Interesting. I think that now, with the rise of like the fake Black women like on Twitter and Instagram, I think we can like lay to rest this idea that like Black women and Black girls don't support each other. Obviously we do. We support each other so much that like you can fake it and still get support. I thought it's really interesting the ways that the younger people's feminist discourse influenced the way that Emo Black Thought was engaging with his primarily Black woman audience. As a 30-year-old, there's some stuff that is just not for me. The way that, younger women talk about feminism, I was like, oh, it's not for me. But, I'm actually not even going to go into that. But I understand how influential it is. And there's definitely like a shift happening with the pro-ho stuff, the pro-sex work stuff. Even just the way that younger people talk about gender identity, sexuality, that's different. And then we also get, the hypervisibility of like the Black girl magic discourse. I think that we're transitioning out of the Black girl magic era. And that's not to say that it's like disappeared or Black women supporting each other has disappeared. But the way that we talk about and affirm other Black women is definitely changing. And I'm interested in that. But for me, I think one of the primary things that the Emo Black Thought situation underscores is how Black women's community has become a commodity and can become a commodity. And, this is something I think about really deeply because I run this space and I've run, FORHARRIET for a long time. I think some of that in capitalism is natural. But if you are going to commodify community, then there has to be a mechanism for accountability. And I think one of the best mechanisms for accountability is being known. It is difficult to have accountability with anonymity. So I understand why people don't want to put their pictures up. I understand why people don't want to use their real names or whatever. But anonymity is a pathway to a lot of corruption. It is a pathway to a lot of scamming and scheming. And I do take it very seriously, the fact that like people trust me, that my name is out there. You can Google me. You can look up my childhood friends, my family, my college friends. And the fact that I know that I can be checked up on forces me to behave a certain way. And that can be kind of burdensome. But nobody's forcing me to do this. Nobody's forcing me to sit on the floor and talk to YouTube. Right? I can get a real job, right? I've chosen not to. And so I think it is perfectly reasonable for people who engage with me in community in this way, for people who give me money every month, to say, I want to know who you are. Now, let's not take it too far, right? Somebody did something really inappropriate to me this week. I'm not even going to say it because I know it's going to cause some copycats. But let's not get out of hand. But I understand that me, my name being out there, it means that like I have an incentive to be ethical in the way that I'm treating the people who work with me, who work for me, the people I'm interacting with. And so I'm not going to get off into, all I'm saying is there's a reason why I am so skeptical of people who choose to create community, particularly when it comes to Black women, who choose to take Black women's money, who choose to profit off of Black women's culture, Black girl culture, and discourses and cultural productions, and who remain anonymous. I think that those scenarios are rife. It's rife for scamming. What else I got on here? And I'll also say, the fact that I understand that I think that if you choose to make money off of Black women's community and Black girl culture, that you do have a responsibility. And I take that responsibility seriously. I mean, we'll talk about the grant scholarship thing later, right? But I am deeply invested in pouring back into the community and uplifting the community in various ways. And I think that the expectation that people who are able to profit off of this stuff, that they be accountable, that they give back in some sort of way, I think that's a completely reasonable expectation, not exploitation, girl. Oh yeah, and yeah, I just think that there's just a certain kind of honesty that comes with people seeing my face and knowing who I am and all that. So the final thing I wanted to say is despite the fact that I think that we as Black women, I understand that our instinct is to want to be super protect, build off walls or whatever. I just don't think that that's going to be an effective way for us to capitalize off of our culture or our cultural productions, our intellectual innovations. I just think if we're spending so much time on these platforms that are ostensibly open, anybody can tap in, anybody can see it, anybody can engage. The idea of constantly trying to say, this is the boundary, this is the boundary, this is the boundary, it just seems I don't know if that's going to work, it's kind of the border wall, along the southern border, it's porous. Those borders, those things that we're trying to create, they're so porous that I am not going to spend my time, I say this all the time, I'm just not going to spend my time yelling at a white lady with dreads or a white woman with box braids. It's just not an effective use of my time as a Black woman. Because those borders between our culture, what we create, and everybody else, they're so porous. You're going to spend all your time trying to plug those holes. I would rather focus on investing in the good. I want to put my time and my energy and my money toward investing in Black women who need money, shine, resources. I want to focus on uplifting that stuff and us rallying around actual Black women and doing what we can for actual Black women. Instead, I'm just not going to spend my time yelling at white women. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to spend my time yelling at Asian people who break dance. Because it ain't going to stop them. Is it going to stop them? No, it's not. And then we have, it's that chicken noodle soup song that was with Becky G and the dude from BTS. And at least, I think the good thing that shaming does is it forces people to know that you need to give credit or you're going to be dragged. So I saw people who are kind of maybe upset about the BTS dude and Becky G doing the chicken noodle soup song, which came from a Black woman rapper from New York. But I think her name is Bianca. But Bianca said, hey, I got my money. She was like, I got my check. What more that's all you can really do, right? She got her check. Because Because the idea that people are going to stop engaging with Black culture or stop doing Black women stuff, it's just not. We're past that. We're past that. We spend too much time in spaces that other folks have access to. Okay, what else do I have to say? I understand why you'd be so mad if you're trying to build a platform. I understand why you'll be so mad at the Emo Black Thought situation or at any of these other situations. If you feel like you are locked out of a career that you want, if you feel like you're locked out of doing work that you want to do, I get it. I get it. And I understand why I can't really relate to that, but I certainly get it and I understand. And I empathize. And I will also say it is really important for us to, I think, digital community is important. It is so important. It's so transformative. I mean, my life has been transformed. But I hope that, I think for for Black women's emotional, and psychological well-being, that we are putting work and effort into offline community and offline relationships, because there are just certain behaviors that take place online that are just so damaging and destructive. I'm on the social media is bad train. I am. Call me Elizabeth Warren because social media sucks. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Everybody wants to be a Black girl and Black woman, and now nobody can say that I'm crazy or paranoid or arrogant because people are literally cosplaying Black womanhood out here. Whew, that's the end of that rant. We will go to the question. Oh, actually, we have some announcements. So I posted on the community page and I posted on Instagram that I personally, I am every month going to choose one Black woman undergraduate to give $250 to. And probably, I don't know, if my income goes up, then I'll start giving more. But I'm pledging $250 a month. And that is for undergraduate women. No, not graduate women. Undergraduate Black women. People say what? And people have asked me questions about can Afro-Latinos. And it's like, if you're Black, then you can, great. So go to the community page. There's information. The email address is grants@FORHARRIET.com. We'll pick one person. The crazy thing is I talked about this on social media. I talked about this on Twitter. This is a good thing about Twitter. And so many people have hit me up and said, oh, I want to help you contribute more. So it'll probably be a lot more than $250 actually. So that's, I'm committed to people need money. I want to give back. People give me money, so why would I not give other people money? So that's really exciting. I mentioned that I have a soft spot for a few different majors: African American Studies, History, Sociology, Women's and Gender Studies. We're about to rant. We're just gonna rant real fast. I love a real quick rant. Let's get it out the way. So I posted this thing yesterday about the fact that these are grants, right? The number, I was really disheartened and offended and I'm going to say really hurt by the amount of negative feedback that I got about it. I say controversial things and I know it's going to be controversial and I know people are going to drag me and I know people are going to disagree. I never expected to say I want to give Black women in college money and receive the amount of negative feedback that I've gotten over the past day. It has been very strange. Multiple people have told me that $250 doesn't even matter, that, it's not enough money. Why am I calling it a grant if it's only $250? You guys, you understand that's my money. I committed to give at least $250 of my own money, at least $3,000 a year. I'm just a regular person. I'm sitting on the floor, okay? I'm not fucking Oprah. Just a regular person. The fact that you would have a problem with the amount of my own money that I'm giving, the fact that you have a problem with the fact that I say I got a degree in African American Studies, so I have a soft spot. I love women's and gender studies, history, sociology. So many people have expressed to me that they think it's stupid and pointless that I said I'm going to give special consideration to people who do those majors. I don't give a fuck. Do you understand? There are so many scholarships out in the world that are STEM focused, that are math focused, that are journalism focused. Somebody, and this is up, I left it up. Somebody just today, a couple of hours ago, said, "Oh, so you don't give a fuck about public health, do you?" What? What? When somebody endows a scholarship for journalism, does that mean that they don't give a fuck about the arts? Does that mean that they don't give a fuck about science? No, it means that I have a particular interest and investment in the stuff that I like. I'm allowed to do that. When Oprah gives a scholarship to Morehouse, doesn't mean that she's saying, fuck every other college. Fuck you if you don't go to Morehouse. No. So the fact that multiple people have said this to me, I'm like, what's going on? I literally yesterday was just like, what's happening? How is this the feedback? I'm a single human. And then people being like, well, don't forget about graduate students. Do you guys know that I'm a single person? Do you guys know that it's just me and I'm writing checks? I appreciate the support that I've gotten on this journey. Oh, I never even mentioned that we hit 100K, right? I appreciate deeply the support that I've gotten on here, but I am consistently blown by the rudeness, by the malice, by the entitlement that people have. It is crazy. And like I said, I'll get over it, I'll get over it. I was just really taken aback by the number of negative comments about that yesterday. It was very, very bizarre. Okay, so that was the first thing. The second thing is, I mentioned earlier that in my past career, I was an editor and I really miss editing. So you know how I've been telling you all for like a year to sign up for the email newsletter and like 3,000 of you have done that? I'm finally going to revive the newsletter, and it's going to be me writing again, but also publishing original work. So if you are a writer, I think that the theme of the first newsletter is going to be about repairing harm. So like, how are you reconciling the harm that you've done to somebody else or to yourself? I think that's going to be the theme. And so submissions for that are open. Send me an email. Obviously, it's going to be paid. It's going to be $1 a word, which is a lot. If you've ever written for the internet, $1 a word is a lot. So if you have an essay about how you have made amends or repaired harm or engaged in like restorative justice, I'm interested in that. Or if you have an experience of somebody else, right? Like making amends with you. Send me those essays, Kimberly@FORHARRIET.com. I have to get an essay that I like first. So as soon as I do, then the first edition of the email newsletter will go out. And that'll also be published on the For Harriet website. Whew, what else do I have? Merch. Merch is coming. The merch samples are in the mail. So if you're a patron, then you got access to like the first like batch merch reveal and with a coupon code. But I decided that for everybody else, for the main channel, that I'm going to release one merch design like a month. And then after that month is over, it's going to be gone. So if there's any like merch that you want that's currently up on shopforharriet.com, get it, because It's going to be gone. I'm like wiping out all of the previous merch designs. We're going to start completely over. And right now, if you sign up to become a patron, you can get a mug or a sticker. I think that's all I got. We're gonna do questions for a minute. Oh, it's been 45 minutes already. Okay, we're gonna do questions for 15 minutes. What are your thoughts on Nicole TV, a young, carefree Black woman who can attribute her rise to social media popularity from the support of Black women? Oh, let me turn off this. I love Nicole TV. Are you kidding? I love her. I went on an extended rant about this on Patreon. She's hilarious. I discovered Nicole TV, and I think she has like 2 million subscribers now, from that one video. It was a live video where she was trying to straighten her hair. Black girl fucking problems, okay? When she was like, this shit is nappy. That was hilarious. I love her. I will say about Nicole TV, though, that I watched an interview that she did with, like, I don't know, one of those YouTube channels that interviews influencers, and she seems very sad. She seems like a really sad girl, and she talked about, like, depression and, like, her suicide attempts. So I love her so much, but I am certainly worried. I mean, she's really young. She's like 18, and I don't think she's graduated from high school. I am certainly worried that she is not mentally well. I hope she is, but she definitely didn't seem that way in that interview that I saw. Okay. What are your thoughts on the movie trailer for Farming? I don't know what that is. 100,000 subs. How are you going to celebrate? I'm not going to celebrate, but I am definitely very, very... Honestly, my celebration is I am trying to move. I haven't posted a video in almost 3 weeks. I mean, I did that live that got taken down before, but that's just on Patreon because I was all over the place. But I don't know, I had the horrible idea of deciding to move in like 14 days from, it was like, so that's how I'm celebrating. Do you believe Lil Nas X knew about Emo Black Thought's true identity? Yes, I do. Thoughts on Gina Rodriguez? That's going to be another video. You said Black women's way of supporting, uplifting each other is changing. Can you elaborate on that, please? So I believe deeply that the way that Black women engage with each other on the internet has transformed Western society. I don't know about anything outside the West, but definitely Western society, and maybe even outside. So one thing is like the way that we use Twitter. The way that we use Twitter and the way that we like have live tweet shows and engage with the show and tell people to watch, like evangelize about TV and movies. I think I'm thinking particularly of like Shondaland, of Scandal. Scandal would have been canceled if not for Black women on Twitter. And then Scandal opens the doorway for TGIT. Scandal opens the doorway for something like an Insecure. Yeah. I think another one is the way that we talk about intersectionality, feminism. So the theory of intersectionality comes fundamentally from Black women theorists, queer Black women theorists saying, we need to, the foundations of our feminism have got to center the least of us. And the least of us in Western society is a queer black woman, and now it's like a poor trans black woman, right? And so if your feminism is not taking into consideration the needs of the poorest, queerest, most trans black women, then your feminism is bullshit. That theory, that kind of theorizing and thinking has completely changed. There is no Me Too without the shift toward intersectionality. And that shift comes because of social media. There's so many things. The embrace of sex work comes because of intersectionality and the way that black women have talked about that on Twitter, on social media, on Tumblr. That is socially transformative. And everybody gets to reap the rewards. The grant applications are rolling, so I'll choose at the end of the month. But we're always accepting applications because this is going to be monthly. I've said that I'm Elizabeth Warren and I hate social media, but I'll say a great thing about social media is so many people have reached out to me and said, oh, I want to help. I want to give more money. I want to help you get to, more than 250. So like, I don't know, like 13 people have said, I want to support a young black woman in college. Like, that's crazy. It's crazy. And I want to help people. I love doing this. I love talking shit, but I like that now I have the opportunity to like help people. And college was such a transformative time for me, obviously, because I'm always wearing Harvard shit. I feel excited about the opportunity to like help other black women in college. And yeah, like, I don't know, if you get $500, is it gonna transform your life? I don't know, but it'll, hopefully it'll help. How did you get started with FORHARRIET? That has to be another video. I'm also working on a video about all this too. Are you watching Watchmen? I did watch that first episode because I'm an Oklahoman. And it like had Oklahoma in it, but I'm probably not gonna watch it. It's not for me. It's not the type of thing that I would want to watch. What was your intention when you started this channel? I want to start a channel and I'm trying to narrow my interest. Any thoughts on how to? I would say I think this channel works because I talk about stuff that I'm genuinely passionate about. I recognize what does well on social media. I recognize what does well on YouTube. And I have intentionally merged what I like, what I'm passionate about, what I can rant about with what I know does well with the algorithm. So I would say if you're not starting with passion, then you're going to fail. This YouTube channel is many years old. It's like 4 years old. It just started popping in the last year. And that's because I really was like, oh, I need to figure out what YouTube likes. And so I started doing that. But it's still stuff that I like. Black women are by far the coolest, most fun people on YouTube. Everyone else is boring in comparison. And due to watching y'all, I'm able to correct people in my own community when they're out of line. That's great. Will the video of Gina also include commentary about the colorist statements Evelyn from Basketball Wives? Oh, we're here. We see each other. Yes. Well, how do you feel about Nicki getting married to that petty guy? The Barbs already hate me. I think that loneliness will make you do some crazy stuff. I wish Nicki all the best. Seems like she wants kids. Seems like she really wants companionship. Good for her. Not for me. Not for me. And if it were one of my close friends or family members, I would counsel them to make a different choice. But I'm not Nicki. Don't know her. She can do whatever she wants. Let's go to this. What do we need to do to get you to Philly to meet Mark Lamont Hill? Oh, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. This is me and Get Out. No, 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 no. Seems like a nice man. Why do you think Viola Davis won an Emmy for her role in How to Get Away with Murder, but Kerry Washington was only nominated and never won for Scandal? Love your channel. Scandal, towards the end, was not a good show. In fact, I would say towards the end, Scandal was a bad show. And Kerry Washington is a competent actress. She's a capable actress. She not Viola Davis. Few people are. But yeah, I think Viola Davis really elevated How to Get Away with Murder. Viola Davis is the shit. Viola Davis should be Meryl Streep, but institutional racism. Have you ever read any books that you felt were flat out bad? Yes, but I can't think of one right now. Do you think Ellen Pompeo is a good ally? Yeah, I do. I think that Ellen Pompeo says some cringeworthy stuff, but I expect white women to say cringeworthy stuff. But I think that she's shown multiple times that she's willing to speak out and she's willing to make people uncomfortable. And I like that. I like that in an ally. Shake shit up. Shake the table. Lighter question. What's your favorite childhood TV show? I really loved Recess when I was a kid. What else did I like? When I was a kid, but you know what? I stopped watching cartoons really early. I really liked Recess, but like the TV show that's really coming to my mind right now is TRL. I'm pop culture obsessed. I'm particularly obsessed with like the era between like 1999 and 2004. And so TRL and 106 and Park. Oh, that was my shit. Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah. Should we ban the N-word in the Adventures of Huckleberry Finn? No. I honestly don't have a problem with if you are reading a historical document that uses the N-word. I really don't have a problem with people saying it. I know other people do. They don't want their teacher to say it. But I do have a problem with this idea of like, I don't want you to just say, if you are not black, don't just be out here saying the N-word, right? But if you are quoting a historical document and that word is in the document, I don't have a problem with you quoting it because that's the reality. Just know that your N-word privileges are gone if you are not referencing a direct quote from the past. I don't want to sanitize history in that way. I don't like that. I'm late, but did you see Chelsea Handler's Netflix doc on white privilege or her Red Table Talk? If so, any thoughts? I talked about this on Patreon. Celebrity crush. Who are my celebrity crushes? Recently I've been really into Kofi Siriboe. I mean, who doesn't love a Kofi Siriboe? I'm into, this is like a weird one, but I'm really into Nick Kroll. Nobody's gonna know who that is. My celebrity crush is Barry Jenkins. Yeah, even though, actually, I'm not even going to say what I was going to say about Barry Jenkins, but I have a big crush on Barry Jenkins. Yeah, that's it. In one of your videos, you said that who you choose to partner has to do with your own politics. And what do you mean by that? Don't you just like who you like? So I like all kinds. I'm attracted to all kinds of people. I was watching the YouTube Black, like, I don't know what it was. I don't know. I was on YouTube and there was like a YouTube Black, there was like a live stream. And there's these young kids. Those kids were probably like 22, 21. And I was like, oh, they're attractive, right? I'm attracted to them. I'm not sure if I can 100% control that. But I would never partner a 21-year-old or 22-year-old because that's fucking dumb. I'm old. I have liabilities. I have a 401k. I have shit, right? So who you choose to partner is absolutely within your control, right? So yeah, who I choose to be with reflects what I value, what I want in my life, the energy. I don't want no damn chaotic energy in my life. What I want, what I want the world to say about me when they see me sitting next to a person. The values that I think are important. I might be attracted to a homophobe. I might be attracted to somebody who's transphobic and misogynistic. You can't be my partner though. I'm not choosing you. Because if I choose a homophobe, if I choose somebody who says negative things about trans women, then I am saying that that's okay. So yeah, who you choose to be with does say a lot about who you are and what you find valuable and what you want to communicate to the world. I talked about Amanda Seales on Patreon. How do you think children's TV affects how children will later see the world? Are there any TV shows you personally endorse and want young people to watch? I think images are important. I think we need to be really honest about the fact that like images matter. I think sometimes we try to pick and choose when images matter, and I am guilty of it. I try to do it too. But I have nieces that I'm obsessed with. Everybody knows with, and I'm very, very picky about what they are exposed to because I recognize that so much of the messaging that I got about beauty and femininity and whiteness and stuff that was so influenced by what I was watching. But are there any shows? I don't know. I don't know if there's any shows, but I know that my nieces right now love this thing called Descendants 3. I guess it's a TV movie. And I didn't find it to be objectionable. And it did have a black woman in there. So, I don't know. There's like a black woman. Oh, Doc McStuffins was a good one. But there's like a new cartoon. I can't remember what she's called, but she's like the Princess Knight. What is her name? Something the Princess Knight. Something Elsa the Princess Knight. No, Elsa is from Frozen. I can't remember, but they like that show, and I'm fine with them watching that. Thoughts on the Meghan Markle interview? I think it's really sad. I'm on Team Meghan. Does your confidence come with age, or is it something you've practiced? I think confidence comes with, I think a part of it is age, but it's not just like naturally. I don't think like everybody naturally wakes up and they're 30 and they're confident. I do think that I have done a lot of self-work to figure out who I am and why who I am is valuable. And like, I've made changes. I'm not somebody who's like, this is just me, accept it. I've made lots of changes over the years, and I want to be the best person I can be. And I'm very confident in like the work that I've done and the person that I'm becoming. I think life is like a journey, and I'm constantly learning, and I hope I'm constantly getting better, and I am confident that I'm on the right path. Nella the Princess Knight. Yes. What are your thoughts on offering your friends unsolicited advice? It's a no. No, I mean, if we're really friends, then I know how to broach a potentially sensitive topic to you in a way that's not going to hurt you. So, yeah, I think friendship is being able to be honest, not brutally honest. I don't believe in that shit. Don't be fucking brutal with me. But like being honest and loving. I'm a Pisces. Do you listen to Luna? No, I'm not sure who that is. Oh, we are at 65 minutes. It's time for us to wrap this up. Um, what are R&B art? What R&B artists are you listening to? Okay, I can wrap up on this note. R&B artists that I'm listening to. I really like Kehlani. I really like, you know who I like? Because I just saw her on The Breakfast Club and I looked her up. This girl named Leighton Green. I like her. And I like that little nasty song, Can't Leave Him Alone. I like that song. Summer Walker. Bro, I love Summer Walker. I know people were really talking shit about her on the Tiny Desk concert. I loved that Tiny Desk concert. If you can sound like the records, you're okay by me. Okay? And Girls Need Love is still the motherfucking jam. Loved it. What other R&B am I listening to? I think that's it. Yeah. Okay, that's it. I gotta go. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you. I'll see you later. Oh, I have to press the button. See you next time. Still here. Bye.